welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Randal Muani, Mason Mount and Diogo Costa in their transfer rumours and what's being said about them today. So apparently Muani, he's a striker, and obviously his childhood ambition apparently is to play for Manchester United, and the striker is one of several backup options that Ten Hag has in case Harry Kane we don't get him, which it's looking more and more likely that that's actually going to be the case. So obviously exploring more avenues for new players is something that Ten Hag and his team have to do. And meanwhile, Diogo Costa, goalkeeper, who's been linked with a switch to United, there's some news about what that goalkeeper has to say, and apparently he wants to stay at Porto. So obviously, the season ended on Saturday with the whimper at Wembley. I'm not going to say any more about that, but now we can look forward, and hopefully there's going to be a couple of signings this month, fingers crossed, a couple of signings in July, and so on. Hopefully we're going to work a lot quicker this season than we have done in the past, and if we don't, then we're not really, but the club really aren't supporting the manager, are they? But anyway, let's move on. Let's get straight into it. So we're going to actually, I've got something to say about Kim Min-jae and what Mikael Silvestre said about him. He said, as he's talking to betting expert, he said to betting expert, I like him, but for me, I haven't been overly impressed, especially when I compare him to the likes of Martinez and Varane. I don't see him coming in and breaking that partnership, especially when you have Lindelof, who has done it extremely well as a backup. I think United are okay in that department. So basically, what he's saying is, what Mikael Silvestre is saying, that United don't need Kim Min-jae, which I must admit, I kind of agree. I don't think Kim Min-jae is going to come into the side and expect to sit on the bench. But I also don't think he's up there with Martinez and Varane, so and maybe not Silvestre as well. Not Silvestre, with Lindelof as well. So, what's your thoughts on that? But moving on, so about Mason Mount. So, last week it was revealed that, supposedly United had agreed personal terms with Mason Mount, but I seriously doubt that's true. There's too much going on. At the end of the season's just happened, and representatives of the player have shook hands. United and his representatives have shook hands about a contract, but that doesn't mean pen's been put to paper. Now, ESPN claims Avram and Joel Glazer have approved the transfer, meaning that a fee can now be agreed between Chelsea and United. And it's thought that Chelsea might want something ridiculous like 70 to 80 million, whereas United are looking at more about paying 50. And will that be enough to convince Ted Bowley to release Mason Mount? Mount's, yes, he's got a year, 12 months left on his contract, so maybe now's the time to cash in on him. My personal opinion is Mount isn't my ideal player in that position to play alongside Casemiro. Ideally, I'd prefer someone like Caicedo. That's the go-to name, isn't it, at the moment? But we're not linked with him, or even McAllister, let's say. But we're not linked with either of them. McAllister's linked with Liverpool. Apparently, a deal to make it, for him to leave Brighton could happen this week. As for Caicedo, I think he's more linked with the likes of Arsenal. But I'd like to see us challenge these sides. If the money's there, and Ten Hag's had some indication that he can go for his preferred targets, then why can't he do that? I'm not saying that Mason Mount isn't his preferred target. I'm just saying my personal opinion. I'd rather have Caicedo and the likes of McAllister above Mason Mount. But obviously, if Ten Hag wants this guy, Mount, then he must see something, in his infinite wisdom, that I don't personally see or haven't seen so far. Moving on to Randal Muani, apparently he's searching for his perfect club, and his perfect club when he leaves Eintracht Frankfurt this summer, it's Manchester United. And the French international forward caught the attention of top flight Premier League teams and other teams around Europe during the World Cup last year. Yet he missed a chance in the last minute of extra time in that cup final before Argentina eventually won it on penalties. But he has impressed dramatically, scoring in Germany this season, scoring 15 times in 32 appearances for his club in the Bundesliga. PSG were reportedly interested in the 24-year-old. At the same time as he arrived in Germany last summer, but they are still interested now. But he would favour, apparently, a move back to Old Trafford over a return to France. So he's not interested in going to PSG. He actually said, "It's flattering that PSG are interested in you, like all other big clubs." This is he told Canal Football Club. He said, "It's not just because you come from the Parisian region and that you grew up there that you should automatically play for PSG." He says, honestly, he doesn't dream of playing in the Premier League. He says, "It's one of the best leagues that exists. You dream about it. There are childhood dreams, but I'm not searching for the perfect club. I just want to play for Manchester United," is what he said. "I'm really looking for a club as big as them to give me the chance to express myself, to gain big time, and most importantly, to allow me to grow." So he wants to come to United by the sound of that. And as for Erik Ten Hag, he's made no secret of his desire, and us fans have said the same. We need a striker. We probably need two strikers. Muani should be one of two. He probably would be an understudy to someone like Kane, let's say. If you don't get Rasmus Højlund, that is. Rasmus Højlund is my preferred kind of young emerging talent striker if we don't get... on top of an experienced, well-rounded goal scorer, we need this understudy who can play bit parts throughout the season and eventually look to replace the likes of Kane. Obviously we wouldn't have that problem if we got Victor Osimhen, but we would still need two strikers. Moving on to Diogo Costa, for all of you who are David De Gea out, which I'm not one. I sit somewhere on the fence. I do know that Ten Hag will have to, if Ten Hag stays on as Man United for the next 2-3 seasons, there'll come a time when De Gea will have to be replaced. So I've got absolutely nothing against going out and trying to find a good keeper, a good up-and-coming keeper who can challenge David De Gea, and potentially they both fight for that first team spot. There's absolutely nothing in that, nothing wrong with that. But what I'm not is a David De Gea hater who just wants to see the guy leave after everything he's done for the club. So with that in mind, Diogo Costa. But apparently he's broken his silence on the transfer links with Manchester United, and the 23-year-old has indicated that he's happy to actually stay in Portugal. He's happy to stay in Portugal. He said that he hopes to continue at Porto, and links with Manchester United are just online chatter and nothing more. Costa's been widely linked to leave Portugal ahead of next season, and as you know, I've said already, people are saying that he's the next goalkeeper to come in at United. I've got personally nothing against that. If he's good enough, let's have him. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to think, let's just bring him in and automatically put him at number one and replace David De Gea. No way. Whoever comes in has got to fight for a place and prove that they can be the number one in that spot. And that is the same for any position throughout the squad. I don't see that any player should get preferential treatment. Otherwise, you stagnate and you just don't improve. For lack of a better analogy, look at Pep Guardiola and the players he sold in the last summer. Stalwarts of the club left. 3 stalwarts. 2 went to Arsenal. I forget off the top of my head where the other one went. and I can't even remember the names right now, but I'm a Man United fan, not a City fan, so don't blame me for not remembering their player names. Anyway, so yeah, David De Gea, it looks like, is going to be the number one still for next season. I don't think, with lack of information being out there, it looks like Ten Hag won't have that much money to spend. Some people are saying, oh, he's guaranteed he's going to spend at least 200 million. I like to know where they're getting that figure from, because at the end of the day, it's pie in the sky, just picking it out of the air. No one knows what Ten Hag's got. I think what he's doing, and all these transfer rumours, is he's putting the feelers out. And he's an intelligent man. He's proactive. He's out there trying to find out who would be interested in coming to United. So he's being active. He's not leaving it to the last minute and then scrambling around for signings and paying over the odds. That's something he doesn't want to do. And I commend him for that. There's many things that I think he does wrong at times, but switching up the transfer window and making things feel a bit different, that's exactly what he's got to do, because we've been lacklustre in seasons transfer windows gone by. And obviously David De Gea, he is out of contract this month, although he is going to renew, apparently. Yes, it will be on reduced terms, and Erik Ten Hag, as he should, as I've mentioned, but Erik Ten Hag has refused to declare him his number one goalkeeper, but for exactly the same reasons that I've said, that really you're looking to bring in new players to challenge positions, and that in turn across the whole side will increase the standards on the pitch, and that's exactly what has to happen at United. So my thoughts are this: no, we won't sign a goalkeeper, so Diogo Costa won't come. This Mason Mount's the most likely, probably Rabiot on a free, and then we'll get a striker. And apparently the Marcus Højlund deal is pretty far in advance, as in the conversations with his representatives, and apparently he wants to come to United. And that's, from what I've been told and what I've read, is that's not just fan rumour. That has or can be substantiated if you do your research, that he actually wants to come to United. So that's absolutely fantastic. As for Muani, he's a bit more of an unknown. Personally, if we can't get Harry Kane, we can't get Victor Osimhen, I would rather have Goncalo Ramos and Marcus Højlund as our new strikers. We do need two, we can't have one. There were a few rumours late yesterday that United may be looking for a left winger, but that's not been substantiated. No names have been named, and I can't see why that would happen. After all, we've got Jadon Sancho on the left, even though I think he plays better on the right. Got Garnacho on the left, Rashford on the left, and I just can't see why Erik Ten Hag will want to do that, want to bring in another left winger. Yes, okay, you may want to push the players you've got, but I prefer to see Sancho on the right. So I'm thinking Sancho and Antony right wing, Rashford, Garnacho left wing. Two players pushing. I mean, at left back we've got Malacia and Shaw pushing each other. Right back you've got Dalot and Wan-Bissaka pushing each other. We probably need another quality centre backs. We've got two at each of them. I don't know where the money's coming from for that. And obviously we need some cover at number 10. We need a number 8. Probably some cover at 6. I mean, this is a project, so we're not going to get everything we need this summer. But I think the most pressing thing that you saw from this season and the goal tally was it was poor. So yes, Marcus Rashford scored 30 goals, 17 goals in the Prem, but we need someone else. We need double figures. We need a proven goal scorer, put more goals in the side, able us to win more games. And I think that's Ten Hag's priority. He's got to put goals in the side, and beyond that, probably some cover for Bruno Fernandes, because the guy can't play as many games. I mean, he played 37 out of 38 Premier League games this last season. The guy, across the whole of the season, he played more games than any other player in European football. So, in top flight European football, that is. So that's ridiculous. The guy can't carry on doing that. You can't expect that of him. So we do need in that position too. And probably, I think Eriksen, after his ankle injury, and when he came back, he hasn't been the same player. He just has not been the same player. Whether he just needs to rest and he'll come back next season rejuvenated, I hope that happens. But Ten Hag still does need a versatile midfielder who can cover, let's say, one player who can cover Bruno, can cover like an Eriksen playing a little bit deeper role next to Casemiro. And I think, from my thoughts where that was going to be Alexis McAllister, but it looks like he's going to Liverpool. And now Caicedo is a bit more of a defensive midfielder, but maybe Ten Hag can get more out of these kind of players. But we're not linked with Caicedo, like I already mentioned. So it just could be. I mean, I fail to right here to find it in my mind anyway, a versatile kind of central midfielder who can play more of a defensive role or sit alongside Casemiro deep and link up the play with the number 10, so Bruno Fernandes, and be that kind of more of a box to box type central midfielder. I off the top of my head, I can't think of who that might be. Actually, no. Some people say Declan Rice, because Declan Rice has shown signs of having much more attacking ability than he generally shows at West Ham. And United have been linked with Declan Rice, but it's thought that he too may go to Arsenal. I'd have Declan Rice, yeah, definitely. Declan Rice is a good player, solid player. He's young. He's proven, and I don't just mean Premier League proven. He's played across numerous seasons and been a standout player. So yeah, Declan Rice would be a serious option. Now it just comes down to money, because you can't expect him to be cheap. West Ham wouldn't let him go. I wouldn't have fought for less than 70 million, and that's a guess. I'm just guessing. It's my opinion. We're all free to share our opinions here. Yeah. So strikers. I mean, Diogo Costa's not coming. He doesn't want to come. He doesn't want to leave Porto. I mean, it doesn't mean if United put a big bid in for him that he wouldn't come. I just think it's not a priority, and it's not a priority for him too, so that makes it less likely. Muani, if Ten Hag likes him, I'll back it. That's fine, not a problem. But I think there are better strikers out there. Marcus Højlund being one of them, Gonçalo Ramos being another, Osimhen, Kane. Until he got his 8-month ban, Ivan Toney was on my list as well, but 8-month ban, no way. I mean, he won't play till January, unless you can get him on a real dirt cheap. Maybe that would be an option, but it'd be like the signing for January. Maybe we could still get him in January if Brighton don't want to bring him back into their starting lineup. You never know. Anyway. That's it for this video. I want to say thank you for watching. If you can, please smash a like. And if you don't subscribe, please subscribe. Thank you.